Antidote Show. I'm your host, Michelle Brown. I know you like, why she got a mask on? Because I've been around a whole lot of dirty people up here at this All-Star game, keeping it 100. And plus, my little great niece is here, and I'm not going to get her sick with anything. So I'm going to keep my distance and love her from afar. You know, you can do that because God is the antidote to everything. So you can do that, right? Love people from afar sometimes. You know, but I have someone here with me today. I'm not going to further the cause because we don't know how long we're going to be on. Okay. But I know we were supposed to be on because it was ordained and set for me to be here by myself with my nephew. Now, if you don't know my nephew, you know, one, the word says take care of your own house first, right? He said check yourself. Make sure you work out your own salvation. And for me, it's working out salvation through my family, making sure my family's saved first before I go out through the highways and byways. So I got to make sure that we're all speaking the same language, right? God is the antidote to everything that we do within our family, but we go abroad to share it. So with that being said, I have my nephew here. His name is Javon Brown Lewis. Okay. We got it all up in there, you know, because we stand under great men and women. People like, well, why you put a hyphen? You ain't leave your daddy? No, it ain't the fact that he didn't leave his daddy. He accepted his other father, which was his grandfather, who took care of him just as well, even not even better than his other daddy. How about that? Just because they your daddy don't mean they your daddy. I digress. So anyway, I have my nephew here. His name is Javon Brown Lewis, and he is an author. He does a lot of community service. He's on the front line of what a real black man should be doing. Okay? I'm going to just give him his flowers while he's here. I love the fact that he takes care of his household. You know, he has a beautiful wife. He'll tell you all about her, you know, but he has a great community. They always say it takes a community to raise one. I can tell you, it took a community to raise these young men to be who they are today. We all came together as a family to raise them. Now, I may not have did what his mom did. I may not have did what somebody else did. But I tell you, my part that I did do helped him to get where he is. He took my whole tattoo off my chest and he's little. You'll see it on his cheek later. Okay? But his name is Javon Brown. Javon, how are you doing today? I know it's on the spot. I put him on the spot because I needed a show for Monday and we were talking about doing a show. But be ready at all times. Don't waste the time. So, Javon, how are you doing besides a little caught off guard?
No, I'm wonderful. Blessed and highly favored. It's a little cold up here in Indy. A little colder than it was in Kentucky, but I can't complain.
I'm telling you. And the best thing is not to complain. Because I didn't know it was going to be snowing down here. Didn't nobody call me and give me the memo that it was going to be snowing. So I thought I had some little cute stuff to wear. Child, couldn't wear none of it. Couldn't wear none of it. This is my brother's shirt right here. But that ain't your business. Anyway, so Javon, what's going on in the Big KY? I know you're doing a lot of good things with the community. Tell us some of the things. Well, first, give us a little testimony of your trials to triumph. From where you were to where you're going now and things that you see God moving in your life.
Like most young people growing up in urban environments, I come from many trials, but also have stumbled into many triumphs. From extreme humble beginnings. And first have to shout out my village, starting with my grandparents, Rowana Lewis and Bobby Lewis, and then my mother, Michelle Lewis, and then my aunt, Kimberly Lewis, Lisa Brown, Shelby Brown.
Marshall. Excuse me, he better know my name.
Marshall. She right.
That's
she
my
got me
nickname.
right. But Marshall Brown, the village really is how I got here today. Without any doubt, that is how I got here. From living in the projects to having multiple surgeries on my legs from 2010 to 2014 that took away my ability to play sports. But through my village, I was able to strengthen my mind and go to college and have continued success from there to here.
You talk about continued success. This brother hold 2 masters?
Yes.
And you're how young?
I'll be 27 March the 2nd.
Who does that? Come on now. Give honor where it's due. You know, sometimes we look at, and you heard his list of his village, and he mentioned his grandfather, right? But the rest were women. You know, the revelation God gave me today, he was like, it was because of the women, the reason why we're here today. And y'all thinking, oh yeah, because she was our mama and this and that. Think all the way back to when Jesus came. If Mary would have been like, I'm getting an abortion. This what happened? Where would we be today, man? My dad always talked about the seven holy mothers. He might be on to something. He literally might be on to something because if I think that, don't worry about it. That's my niece in the background. She wants to be on the show. It's okay. She's my songstress today, so she can sing. Just block it out. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. But however, but yeah, God was showing me that revelation this morning that it was a woman who was obedient to the Holy Spirit. I know you want to sing. See? But however, so Javon, you said a lot of women were a part of your village to get you where you are. I think sometimes when a lot of women are there for men, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it gives you a different kind of compassion for life. You know, and some men, they look at life so hard and rough, as it can be at times. But the women kind of give you that kind of softer look at life. You think that's true?
I absolutely think that is true. But more specifically, I think it adds to the balance of life. I think being raised by so many intelligent, strong Black women, it gave me one aspect of life that my grandfather was not able to give me. Right? I do agree. It's a softer, it's a more cerebral experience than how some logic-based men would deal with some issues. So I definitely think it brought about a balance. But as I've gotten older and become a young man, a married man, and a father, I have had to rebrand that balance for myself and understand that being a man is a role that I must take. It is not something I can choose. It is something that has chosen me by divine intervention. So I definitely think being raised by so many strong Black women definitely added to who I am today. And I am far off and far better than a lot of brethren that did not have that reality.
You know, I think that comes with order, right? A lot of us are so out of order without having that man. We have God first, right? Then our husband, then our wife, then our children, then our job, family, such and such. But so many men don't put God first, right? And we should always put God first. But when you put God first, then you get a even keel balance, right? You get a balance to understand where you stand and who you are. It's all about identity, knowing who you are, right? And whose you are. That helps when you getting put in position. I commend you, and my hats are off to you for stepping up and being that example, especially that a lot of youth don't get to see. You know, a lot of young men don't get to see that. And you know what? And all things work together for the good, because sometimes it's good that you didn't have those men in your life, because they could have not known what balance was or not order was, and then had you all out of order because they didn't know order. You know, then that the generational curses come that way, and there become strongholds and other things that we could talk about. But you feel me, that because they were not there, God gave you exactly what you needed to be the man that he called you to be, right? And if they would have been there, maybe you would have strayed a different direction than the direction God had for you because of the male influence, to where you thought this is the way men are supposed to act, right? So I think that a lot of young men get that confused.
And I want to say that through my experience of being within community for most of my professional career, being a mental health therapist, I have learned that there are far more men in young men's lives than we like to give credit for, right? So the list of people that I named in a part of my village was blood relatives in my village. But there was men who aren't blood relatives, like Jamel West, who is a loving father and husband back home in Louisville. Stephen Edwards, who also is a loving father and a husband to the people around him. I also had William Rasman, which was a white guy who really poured into us as young men and really taught us a lot along our way. And now being exposed to other people in community, I've had the opportunity to connect with other men like Walter Murrah, who is a DJ back home in Louisville who works with young people at St. George's Scholars Institute. I've had the opportunity to work with Darnell Mays, who is a loving father and husband to his kids as well. And those are just older OGs that I named. The people who are around my age, I would say give plus 10 years from me, so up to 37, are phenomenal husbands and fathers to their kids. And I think one thing we have to do as a community is to not focus on the ones without and realize that there are some with. Yeah. And there's far more with than those without. But the ones without cause a lot of the trouble. They cause a lot of the turmoil in community. They cause a lot of heartache in community. But it discredits the people like myself who actually had some mentors in my life, like Jamel West, who I still love and talk to daily, who was really able to steer me as a young man to a right path. Either it was hard conversations that we needed to have, it was care packages in college. Both of those things really played into who I am today. So I really want to shout out all the men out there who's in their kids' lives by obligation, but also the ones that chose to be in other kids' lives, not by obligation, but by choice.
And listen, that's awesome, Bit. What I did notice and hear that mostly all the ones that you were mentored by or sowed things or planted seeds in your life, they were the example of what you are. They were loving husbands and fathers. I've heard you say that a lot about them. And it's the example that you have set before you that you want to mock or be like, right?
Absolutely.
Those are the things you want to see. That's why I said it's important that young men, and I've raised two myself, and I had to sit them before great young men. But then also, they didn't have the men, that male guidance, I would say, even though they had a father, but he really wasn't showing them, where they should be or speak life into them in a sense. Not that he was all bad, but however, he lacked from some things that he didn't receive. So he didn't know how to reciprocate that to his sons, right? And so then I would have to find people for them to be around so that it can mold them into be great men, right? Like I can do so much, or young women, mothers out here that are raising young men. It's only so much that we can do as a mother, right? We can't teach a young boy to be a man. We can teach him to be respectful. We can teach him to be respectful to women. We can teach him how to clean the house. We can teach him how to cook. But this is one thing for certain and two things for sure. I cannot tell him why his thing get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. I have no idea, and I ain't trying to figure it out. I'm going to try to tell you to go talk to Brother Javon over here, because he may know. And if you don't know, we'll find somebody. But, but we have to line what we want to see up. If we want to see our young men be great men, get them around other great men. Mm-hmm. So, Javon, what are some of the things that you're doing in the community that's helping mold these young men?
So I have a nonprofit that is called Stand for Something. Stand for Something is a community development incubator that seeks to really take community to the future. So there's a few programs within it. There's Men, Mentor, Enrich, Nurture, in which we have worked directly with young men and now creating a network of older men to be mentors. There is Build and We, which is a workshop series that focuses on financial health, mental health, and social health and advocacy. And then we have Headed North, which is by far one of my favorite programs that I run, which is a business think tank. The business think tank is for like-minded entrepreneurs to go together and grow together. The entire idea is that collective knowledge leads to collective liberation. So through that, we're really creating an interconnected network of individuals who really want to see each other grow. It's not about money. It's not about quid pro quo. It's really about, I want to see my brother or my sister grow, and how can we get there, and how can we go further and not faster.
You did that. So, um, so those are some of the events that you have coming up. Those are some of the things that you do.
Those are just a few things that I do. I do have an event coming up for my book. My book is titled CO2. It's a collection of poems from 2014 and 2022. You can go find it on Amazon, j.b.blue, BLEW. And within this event will be something we're calling a co-op, a creative outlet with original performances. It'll be me and a few musicians rocking out and reading some poetry.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad you said poetry. I hope you have something in mind because we're going to take a break and then Javon's going to come back with something original. We'll be right back right after this.
The enemy comes in to rob, steal, kill, and destroy, but I come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Welcome to the antidote.
Hey guys, we back. You know I be having trouble with this little keyboard thing, but we're back. So you know I'll put you on the spot. Don't tell me you're a poet, singer, actress. I have you up here acting out something. It don't even matter. But I know Javon has a little piece of something, or just go off the dome. Go off the dome of what you may be thinking of. Maybe something God gave you. It don't have to be a poem. I just want you to speak something from your heart and what God is telling you to tell people, especially young men at this time, because they need a voice. So be my voice today, Javon.
So this poem is titled One Right Move. One right move consists of 100 long nights spent ruminating on how fascinating the wrong ones are. Like the L somehow takes us less far or keeps the door less ajar as we swagger out our way past brokenness. Tiptoe around shattered promises like the premise at the end is, I learned. To see every entrance as an exit, trained to always search for the back door and never to emerge from the background to be less main character and more supporting actor. Like God is Shakespearean the hell out of this story. Somehow, every right move is made by the antagonist and the hero suffers agony in the wake of saving the day. Why too can't I be both broken and put together? Why does my right turns always lead me to circles and we keep going around and around looking for one right move that allows us to escape this loop?
I hope y'all got that. See, we have to be ready at all times. We never know what we have to do. So how do you escape the loop? Sometimes we have to forgiveness that will escape the loop. And a lot of us don't want to forgive. Being in the light will escape the loop. And some of us don't want to be in the light. But during this time in life, you got to be in the light. You got to be positive. How can your car work? Your car needs more positive than negative. Do you need a little negative? Yes, to kind of balance it out. But you can only take what you want to take out of the negative. It's just like I said, it's like a car. A car has a positive and a negative, right? You need very little negative for that car to work. But without positive, that car won't work at all. Look at the car as your ministry. Are you going to continue to do the cycle, not knowing that you need both negative and positive to work, but you need more positive than negative? We get caught up in the negative of life, and that's the darkness of the world. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of the world, right? We're supposed to be doers of the word and not hearers of the words, deceiving ourselves. How many people are deceiving themselves because they don't hear the word or they don't do the word? Oh, I ain't going to church. I ain't going to church. You know, I'm turned off from church. But God never turned off from you. What if God went on strike? How are you going to be intimate with somebody that you don't even talk to? How you going to, soon, if something go bad, you're going straight to God. You're going to be like, I don't know you. And y'all wonder why things don't happen for you because God don't know you. So I'm just giving you a challenge today. Are we going to continue to go in the circles of life? We don't have to continue to go in the circles of life. If we live in the true spirit, right? He said live in spirit and in truth. We would rather live in a lie than live in the truth. He said the truth will make you free. Yes, because you'll be free in spirit. You don't have to deal with the things of life because you're true. Take off the mask. I wish I could, but I ain't. Take off the mask. Don't keep living in your false self. And you'll continue to keep repeating the same cycle because you're being somebody that you're really not. Be who God has called you to be. And I love it. I'm so grateful that my nephew is here today. And I'm so grateful that he didn't let the things of life deter him to go in a whole nother circle, right? And a whole nother path, a whole nother direction. I remember having a dream. I was at a fork in the road. And I had a choice either to go right or to go left. And I'm going to tell you, if I went left, I would be a swindler. I'd be beating all y'all out your money. I already had it figured out. Negroes, I definitely wouldn't be talking. I'd be beating y'all all out your money. I'd be doing everything that is not like God. I promise you, I probably would be. But I was in that fork in the road, and that was in a dream, and then it came to the natural. When I left Louisville 25 years ago, I was at that fork in the road. Either you live or you die. And I chose life. But when I chose it, I made it to be my lifestyle of life. I refuse not to live in the darkness of this world. He said, we're in the world, we're not of the world. You have to understand what that means. And a lot of people don't understand what that means because they never spent no time with him. We have to wake up, people. We got to wake up. We got to get our youth back to hearing what God has to say. And don't be ashamed of it. A lot of kids, they want God. But their mom and them don't want to go to church. Or their mom and them don't want to be around it. Their mom and them are comfortable where they are. This is one of those things you got to change. You got to change because it's a world. It's that time. It's that time. So, Javon, how is it as a young black man, and I know you hear the news just like I do, to hear, 5 got shot down here, 3 got to drive by over here, there's drugs over here, there's this over here. How do we get the attention of the young men of color? Because we have to even stop saying the whole black thing. Because black is absence from color. Right? Brown is present with color. Are you absent or are you present? I'm present. White is purity. Ain't nobody pure out here. We're people of color. All colors. You need every color to make black. Every color to make black. And we just want to call one person black. You don't need no color for white. Come on, somebody. For real. Ain't no white people out here. Show me a white person. You're going to show me a peach. You're going to show me a red. You're going to show me a pink. You're going to show me every other color. But you show me somebody white out here. Real, come on now. Like, just like you ain't seeing nobody this color out here. You ain't seeing no black people out here. I am brown. I am tan. I'm caramel. Give me something with presence. Don't give me something that's absent. We're not absent. And we have to watch the words that come out of our mouths because the enemy takes them and uses them. I tell y'all this all the time. I'm trying to do this. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Try to turn off this TV. You're going to turn it off or you're not. And we need to get more specific with what we're doing and get more aggressive in what we're doing. Just do it. He said a wise man fall 7 times. He already knew you was going to fall. But guess what? We did it. Just do it. And what you allow to hold you back is other people. Get delivered from people. People can't make a heaven or hell to put you in. And we teach our young men in this family, be your best. Do your best. You're going to be a drug dealer? Be the best drug dealer then. I mean, it ain't the right thing, but I'm just saying, don't fall short. It's gonna catch up with you in a minute because we're gonna teach you the right way to go. We're not telling you to go out there and do that, but shoot, be at the top of your game, man. If you're going down for it, you better go down. But we pushed life to our young men. We talk life to them. We stopped saying you're gonna be bad, you're gonna be this. We heard word curses. That's why a lot of this is happening in our community. It's because it was word curses. If I knew then what I know now, would nobody ever said my son was gonna be bad. Nobody would have ever said he ain't a terrible two. He ain't a terrible nothing. That's right, mama. Tell him you ain't. You ain't gonna be. No, you ain't gonna be it. Them don't even speak it over your life. And we do that in our community a lot. We word curse our children. You're gonna be just like your daddy. Well, how was his daddy? He in prison. Oh, so you telling your son that's what he gonna do? Stop it. We gotta stop it. We gotta speak life to our young men. We gotta speak life to our men. We don't even build our men up anymore. We tear them down. No good. If you're a woman, be a woman. Real talk. If you don't know what you are, look down. Real talk. I done been there and done it, so don't tell me I'm in the YTPQs talking about all these people with all these alphabets. I ain't, because once was I. So I can talk about it because I've been there. Don't tell me you don't know nothing about it. The devil is a lie. Yes, I do. And I came out with my hands up, surrender, because I knew hell and brimstone is not my final resting place. Okay? So all this wasn't for me, it was for you. So Javon, how is it being a new husband and father? How is I know that's a whole wake-up call.
It's a blessing. It's a single thing that gets me closer to my grandfather, who I miss dearly. But it is an absolute blessing to learn and grow with somebody intentionally. It's dope. When I had my daughter, April of 2023, the single greatest lesson that I had to learn was how to be a good husband. And my wife and I had been married 2 years at that point. Well, it was going to be 2 years that coming up July. And that's what I learned. I learned to be a better supporting cast to her along our journey. And when they say iron sharpens iron, that is my iron. That is my go-to rock. My wife, Tanisha Howard Lewis, yeah, she is. So when it's an idea or it's a decision, iron is constantly sharpening iron in my household, which is an absolute blessing.
I know that's right. But see, this is it. That's what's so awesome about it. When God gives a man a wife, he give him a good thing. That's why she should always connect. We always need someone to touch and agree with. And when you're married and you have a husband or you have a wife that can touch and agree with that thing, ain't nothing can stop y'all. Nothing can stop you. Only thing can stop you is yourself. Don't go to bed with an attitude. Not at all. It ain't an option. Get that thing right before you lay down, because guess what? One might not wake up. So get that thing right. Don't lay down with an attitude and I ain't talking to you, go sleep on the couch. Are you tripping? Bruh, I bet we both gonna be sleeping on this couch. Okay? So we have to watch those things, because the enemy come in like a flood, but the God I serve will lift up a standard against them. We'll lift up a standard. So I know, Javon, you are really getting excited because you're going to go to the park and everything. You got the dog. Y'all can go to the park, but wait till Mama get ready to go. All right. She already clapping and raising her hand. Look at her saying, amen. Yes. Yeah, I know. He gonna take you to the park, ain't he? Yes, he is. Yep. She is so cute. She's so cute. I want y'all to see her, but like I said, I might have the cooties over here or something. I don't want no cooties. Nobody no cooties. And you could in the name of Jesus, but my sinuses are draining. But anyway, because the temperature, let me tell you, I got off the plane and it was snowing. And I thought about what was in my suitcase and it was nothing for snow. Not one thing. Maybe the jacket that I had on and one more jacket. But as far as the pants, you could see through them and everything, child. So, woo, I had to find something to wear, baby. We made it up because we made it through. But the All-Star game has been awesome. All of that has been awesome. But I saw a lot of young men out there. And even you know, basketball and football is our sports. But it's so many young men, even on the field, I'm sure you can contest to this, Javon, that don't have a relationship with too many people that's leading them to another direction without that supervision or that example.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, especially when we think about athletics, is balance. These young boys, young men, women, don't have enough balance, and we have to remember that sports is entertainment, right? So how are we sharpening our mind outside of focusing on being an entertainment? And I think when we really hone in on that, I think we'll be able to take our young people a lot further to understand that young people require balance. Either that is through education or through understanding sports from a different realm, like sports marketing, so how to be an entertainment lawyer. Um, Athletes have to eat, so like being a chef and doing meal plans and really approaching sports from every different area outside of just playing it and being entertainment. So I think what a lot of people lack is that balance. And I feel like, especially athletes in our family, um, we don't lack that balance. Even when I was an athlete, we did not lack that balance. I think of Quentin, I think of Jalen, um, I think of Aaliyah when she ran track. We didn't lack that balance. We had a firm understanding on education and furthering economics for ourselves and our families. Um, so I really think we got a great balance, and I think of how we all played instruments growing up. Right, we was just in tune with different stuff. That balance that it really requires to go further, I really feel like we had that. It was tapped into more than just sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than just sports, and I think that's really aided to how far we was able to go in life, because life wasn't always just about playing basketball, playing football. It was about what else can take you further than just that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it shows up in all of you all. And this is how it shows up so much. None of them had children until they were married. None of them. I have a son, he's married. That's the only grandbaby I have, right? Javon, he's married. That's the only great niece I have, really. The ones that were with us. They don't have children. They focused on their education. They're buying homes. They're starting their own businesses. They're doing things that they were taught. You know, they were around us having our own businesses and doing our business. And they saw us doing business. You know, even when we were in the streets and stuff, the kids never saw that. They were never privy to sit into the same room with us while we were doing or whatever we were doing. Kids had to go somewhere. Now they don't care. Parents don't care. They let the kids sit around, have conversations, and then probably go out with them afterwards. And we got to change that. We got to get back to the basics of what God has called us to as a people, right? To call us to it as a people. So, Javon, are you doing any public speaks with your book? What are you looking to do, or how are you looking for your book to take off?
Really, the book was done out of obedience of God and the gifts that God has given me. I was supposed to have done a book literally 10 years ago when I was just in high school and didn't do it. So when I had my daughter, I really wanted to ensure that spiritually her gifts had room to flourish and they were not clogged up by mine. So the book was done out of that obedience. The name is CO2 because of my grandfather and the lung issues he had throughout my entire life. And that's why the book is named that. It's carbon dioxide, because he had the least amount of oxygen to give than anybody else in the room. But yeah, he was a teacher first. And then even the price of the book, $14.32, was my second home that I ever had. First, my mother's womb, and second, my grandparents' address at 1432 South 6th Street in Louisville, Kentucky. So the book was really out of obedience, and I'm not super looking to do anything with it. What it has done for a lot of people is connecting. It's connected them to past traumas. It's connected them to their love of writing. It's connected them with something external to themselves that they really can see themselves in. I've had a lot of people at my job tell me that they got back into writing when they picked up my book. And this book allowed them to have some tough conversations with family members when they picked up the book. So I think even in that realm, my book has done exactly what it's supposed to do. And anything else that comes from that book from here on out is nothing short of a blessing for my obedience. So I do have a book reading though coming up March the 2nd in Louisville, Kentucky at the Old Louisville
On his
Coffee
birthday,
Co-op.
y'all. Mm-hmm.
At the Old Louisville Coffee Co-op in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a free event. We're looking to rock out, tell my story as an artist and what went behind the books, and say a little poem while we at it.
I know that's right. Be ready. Be ready. Well, I'd just like to take time to tell you I thank you. And I am so excited for where you're going and what you're doing. You notice I didn't say proud because God hates pride. And I want to speak that over his life. We got to be careful what we say, people. We got to be careful what we say. We're talking about poetry. We're talking about words. We're talking about, what comes out of our mouth. Make sure it's life and not death. Let the dead bury the dead. That's what they say in the word. Let the dead bury the dead. That means dead in spirit. Right? Dead in spirit. You don't want to be around a whole lot of dead people in spirit. Because then it's going to bring you down. So be sure to make sure you're speaking life one to another, speaking blessings on people, not cursing. People always get it, girl, you cussing. No, I probably said a damn hell of shit, but I'm not cursing you out saying what you ain't going to be. I'm knocking you down. We get it all mixed up. We get it all confused. That's the enemy. He wants to confuse you. He wants to have you not knowing what you're doing or where you're going. The God has a plan for you. He orders steps. And I thank God for being that auntie on the wall for my kids and my family. I'm glad that God chose me to be that auntie that renounce things over our lives and our families' lives and go back generations to generations to generations and rebuke those sins. Because one thing's for certain and two things for sure, and I'll tell y'all this, that you might not have done it. Somebody in your family down the way have done it and thought they got away with it and you had to pay for it. That's real. You wonder, well, why did I have that car accident? I ain't do nothing to nobody. But your grandmama's grandmama might have. Somebody got to pay for it. So I'm telling you guys, renounce those things that are going on in your family and announce the blessings that God has for your life. That's the place we got to get to. That's the place we need to be at. And show love one to another. Mama, if you can't do it, find a coach that can. Find a mentor that can, that's willing to, or has a heart to. And with that being said, be careful of who you allow around your children. Be careful of that. But if you see them living a life of Christ, you see them living the life. When you get red flags, they can be saying a holy. He said, if there wasn't no lying prophets and all that out there, he would have never said, so you cast out demons in my name. Oh, so you did this in my name. But I don't know you. So use your own discernment. God gives a gift of discernment. Seek that out. Seek out wisdom. Sometimes we don't have because we don't ask. Lord, whatever it is that you promised me, can you bring it? And I tell you, things just start happening. So, Javon, we just have a few minutes left. Praise the Lord that we got to a show. But, Javon, give us anything else that you feel that or God is laying on your heart to let our young men know.
Something on my heart. Life first requires balance. So seek balance and understand that life also requires that you learn and unlearn specific behaviors and things that you have been taught. So the serenity prayer shall help with that. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Because discernment is an extremely big thing about life in the process of it, and being able to discern your company that you keep, and if they're good for you or they're not, or the parents that you have, if remaining in the same type of relationship with them is good for you or it's not. So being able to discern things in life is extremely important, and prayer will absolutely do that. And I would also say focus on the work just as much as the faith, because we are told faith without work is dead, and the flesh without the spirit is dying and decaying. So really focus on the work that you have to do, and understand that life requires work. Another Bible verse that really comes to mind too is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? So the focus on that is I can, right? Not that you will or that it will be, but you can, right? So that can partnered in with that work means that anything can come to fruition, but you have to pray for it and work for it to do that. So discernment, balance, and putting that work in. I'll continue to put that work in, not just to the tangible things, but to the untangible things like spirit and being able to discern the path that God has for you.
I love it. He didn't know serenity prayer was one of my favorite prayers. He didn't know that. And he didn't know that scripture, I can do all things Christ that strengthens me. That was the first scripture I taught my granddaughter. Because she would always say, I can't. I said, yes, you can. And this is what you're going to learn. And I taught her that scripture. Now she says it. And she believes it. It's one thing to say it. It's another to believe it. You know, the only way the word is going to abide in you if you abide in the word. That means it's not off on Sunday, on Monday. It's a lifestyle. And that's what we taught our children, lifestyle. Christ is a lifestyle. It's not an option. You know, and none of this is an option. You choose to be the way that you are. He gave us a free will choice. And the reason why some things are happening the way you want them to happen because you chose what you chose. He said, there's only, you can't serve two gods, right? You're either going to serve God or you're going to serve the enemy. There's no middle person. There's no middle person. So seek ye first the kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom. Okay, I've listed all Javon's information. I'll put that up again in case anybody has any questions, anybody need anything, and he can help you out. We do, our whole family just about all do motivational speaks. We'll come out. We do workshops. We'll come out. You know, we have Edge Care 360. We have, what's your dad's, his rest thing now?
I do not know.
Well, we have a behavioral health group in Las Vegas talking about the same thing. We have Edge Care 360, the 7 pillars. We have Javon Brown Lewis. He's doing a lot in Louisville on just about the same thing, mental health. And at the end of the day, it's called spiritual warfare. We're in a fight against spirits. It ain't flesh and blood fight. When y'all say mental health, they look like it's a flesh and blood fight, and it's not. It's spiritual warfare. When you're talking about rumors of war, people are at war in their head, in their mind. Don't know what to do, don't know how to give to God and let him do it. But I challenge you today. I challenge you today to love on somebody. Treat someone like you would want to be treated. Take away all the malice. Take away all the unforgiveness. Stop holding yourself back from living your best life. He said the things that we go through should be light afflictions. It should be nothing that torments us. The enemy torments. God doesn't. God doesn't. Javon, you have anything else you want to say before we shut it down?
No, I think I'm good.
Think you good? Well, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate your family coming out with you today. This is ordained because this just so happened. No one is here at the Airbnb, and I waited for him, and God set this up. We didn't even think we would have enough time before everyone came back from breakfast. But you know, God will set it up where he wants something to be out there, where he wants people to know. Let me tell you something. As you watch this show, and I'm speaking life and speaking the things that God gives me to speak, you can't say you never heard it. Because just like we recorded, he's going to rewind the tape. He's going to rewind the tape. All right? So thank you all for tuning into the Antidote Show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please contact me, Marshall Brown. As a matter of fact, go visit my website, marshallbrown.com. Visit me. Come on out. Got a lot of great events happening. Always looking for guests to be on the show. But this one thing about a guest to come on my show. If you early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. So if I send you something to say be there 15 minutes early and you come later, I'm gonna cancel the show, because that means that you're not respecting what I have. And I send that to everybody, anybody. You got people, you're making appointments for people to come and they don't show up. That means they don't respect what you're doing. Because if a job tells them to show up, they're going to show up and they only get paid $20. My daddy owned everything. You don't know what he'll release to you just for being obedient. So I'm a no-nonsense kind of person. Hey, if you're up for the nonsense, don't come over here, because I'm going to tell you, I don't care because we recording. Y'all done seen me take my wig off. I ain't tripping. All right? So until next time, may God bless you and have a great day. Remember, God is the antidote. Get a dose.
Are you sick? Are you tired? Are you feeling down? Well, Mershell Brown will give you a dose of The Antidote Show. Next week, you'll hear from some very special guests coming from across the globe. They'll share their life encounters with you that will change your life the same way it changed theirs. The program, The Antidote Show, will cure you and get rid of all of the negativity of the outside world. The Antidote Show. Get a dose of it.